And Cleo, thank you so much. It's such a beautiful, symbiotic teaching going from what you just shared and your wisdom with eco-psychology and what I'm going to speak about today. So I'm going to do a little bit of teaching and sharing practices on spiritual connection and somatic embodiment as part of the spiral path to the divine self. So who is our divine self? When we go within and connect with our higher power, we connect with the aspect of ourself through our heartbeat, our memories and stories, what we've been through in our lives, our ancestors, and the rhythm of Mother Earth and the cosmic radiance. As we start to honor our inner resources and resilience, our allies, our eternal support system, as well as acknowledging the external support system, our path to our divine self becomes clearer. We connect to this by honoring the elements in our breath, in our waters, which is the blood, lymph, spinal, and other fluids, in our fire through our creativity, our passion and purpose, and in our connection with the earth, which is our body and all of life. This is where we begin to meet the divine aspect of who we are. Our rhythms and cycles. When we start to deeply honor our ancestral stories and lineages, a new relationship and understanding of our biological and eco-ancestors starts to come into our awareness. Eco-ancestors are the animal, plant, earth, and cosmic systems that are primordial and that we carry in our DNA and in our connections with all of life. So I wanted to share a story with you around an eco-ancestor. When my mom died, which is 31 years ago, one of the last conversations we had was she said to me that when you see a butterfly in the garden, know that I'm with you. And from that time on, I see butterflies whenever I'm feeling a little bit overwhelmed or unsure, or I need guidance, or even on a busy highway in downtown congested Johannesburg, when I had a thought or I was needing something, there was a butterfly. When I'm doing my sessions with clients, if I look up, because whatever's coming up, maybe you want to just move a little bit. Just allowing your breath to come into a beautiful rhythm, deepening your connection with each in-breath, releasing with each out-breath. And just feeling your feet connected with the earth, allowing your back, your posture to be straight. Making sure that there's no stress in your neck and shoulders. Just allowing yourself to just be in this beautiful present state. And just focusing on this beautiful light that is coming in through the crown. And as you breathe in, allowing this light to come in through your crown, filling up your face and your arms, going down into your belly, down into your legs, into your feet, And as you're breathing out, just allowing that beautiful energy and light to go down through the roots, out, coming from the bottom of your feet, going down, past those mycelium, past those beautiful crystals and the rich soil, down to the center of the earth. And breathing in that beautiful light in through your crown, filling your body with light, and going down through your roots, down into the center of the earth. Creating a circle of light, connected with your breath, and taking that circle of light out of your body, surrounding you. And checking in, seeing where you're feeling something uncomfortable. Maybe there's a little bit of fear or uncertainty. Feeling into your body. Where do you need to offer more light? And breathing into that place, filling that space with light. Feeling that deep connection. Becoming a bridge between the cosmic light that's coming in through your crown and the deep core of Mother Earth. Feeling held, feeling connected. And meeting the divine aspect of who you are.
When we touch the ground, feel the soil beneath our feet, the pulse of Mother Earth, her rhythm so sweet. Roots grow from our souls, reaching down deep, restoring our balance, waking from sleep. I am healthy, I am whole, grounded in earth, restoring my soul. I am worthy, I am free, Mother Earth, heal through me. Breathing in the air, fresh and pure, nature's embrace, the ultimate cure. Energy flows from the ground to our core, activating healing forevermore. I am healthy, I am whole, grounded in earth, restoring my soul. I am worthy, I am free, Mother Earth, heal through me. Om Shri Tanvantre Namaha. Healing light, guide our way. With every step we connect and align. In the earth's embrace we find our sign. I am healthy, I am whole, grounded in earth, restoring my soul. I am worthy, I am free, Mother Earth, heal through me. Feel the heartbeat, the sacred ground In Mother Earth's love, we are forever found. I am healthy, I am worthy, I am whole. Om Shri Tanvantre Namaha. Let the healing unfold.
Just allowing yourself to come back into your body, placing your hands onto your heart, just feeling that beautiful connection, knowing that you've got this, that you've got you. As we take a beautiful deep breath in, and as you breathe out, just feeling yourself present on the chair, your feet on the earth. Taking another beautiful deep breath in. Maybe just moving your body a little bit as you become more aware in the space, hearing the sounds around you. Just taking one more beautiful deep breath in. As you breathe out, just allowing your eyes to gently open, come back into the space. So to end, the most beautiful technique that has helped so many of my clients, and it helps me every single day, is that when I'm going through a difficult time, that I can take a beautiful deep breath, check in where I am right now, and ask the question, what do I need right now? And in that moment, connecting with the rhythm of the earth, whether you're in nature or in a high-rise building at the top of New York City, to just feel that rhythm of the earth, because we are connected to a rhythm and a heartbeat of Mother Earth and of the cosmos. And when we can reconnect with that aspect, it brings us into a place of presence. And not the circumstances or the challenges haven't changed, but we've changed just with one deep breath and one connection with the earth. And then we can function and show up and deal with things in a very different way. And it gives us a space to think before we act. And a lot of what happens in the world is that we act or react from a place of restriction, of anger, of fear, and we're not connected to our divine self. And that divine self is nature. It is all of who we are. So I just want to take a moment to honor the elements, to honor the element of the breath, the element of water, the element of fire, the element of the earth, and to come into that beautiful connected heart space and our connection with the divine. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nidhi. Yeah, thank you for this beautiful connection and reminding us that, in any moment of struggle, we can connect, tune in, wherever we are. It is available to us. Cleo, please go ahead. You raised your hand.
I wanted to make a reaction, but the only was to raise the head. So
Please.
thank you so much. It was lovely what we experienced with you. Thank you.
Mm, thank you.
Alexandria, I have
Rajni,
yeah.
Rajni, please
Uh,
go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Nidhi. And I mean, one can really see looking at you how peaceful you are inside, because inside peace reflects on your face.
Mm,
And that's the blessing of nature, that's the blessing of universe, and that's the inner work that you have done on yourself over a
mm,
period of time
mm.
that we can clearly see. My
Thank you.
question is, yeah, my question is clearly about, some human tendencies, like you mentioned about a negative emotion, that is fear.
Mm,
And to some extent, fear is necessary for human beings for survival. It is an instinct which is needed
mm.
to survive. But here I'm talking about fear of age and death. And it certainly takes a lot of conscious self work, inner work, to accept it over a period of time that one day we will age and we will die. We have to leave this world. My question is about those people who have never worked on themselves or never got time. They got lost so much in this material world that they forgot to do inner work. And suddenly they are diagnosed with something grave, and now they have very less time. How do you help such people to accept that fear? Because that's a very challenging situation for both guru and the person who is suffering.
So it's a beautiful question, and we all have fear. I mean, I'm aging, and it's, some days it comes really close, and working with death and loss and grief and all of those things. Ideally, if we worked with grief as part of, like, I think it needs to be part of children's education, because we grieve so much loss in our lives with friendships and, losing a pet or moving to another town, or there's just so much of loss. And I think that if we weren't so fearful of grief, we would be able to ritualize it and make it such a big part of life. So how do you deal with someone who's old and stuck and fearful, and with kindness and compassion? Because I think when someone feels that they are seen and they feel connected, and you're kind to them, because the system that we live in, no matter which cultural area we come from, is not kind to older people. We are pushed aside, we become invisible. There's very little kindness and compassion. And really, when we are kind and compassionate to someone and we listen to their story, it ignites something in them when they can tell their story. And then the fear, although it's there, can just be part of, I'm afraid to die, or I'm afraid to age, but I feel connected. And I think that lack of connection, and, we spoke earlier about COVID. I mean, one of the biggest things with COVID is so many people were isolated, alone, and they didn't have connection. And, it impacted mental health, which I don't even think we realize on a global scale, the level of that disconnect and isolation that what it had. And then it also creates a distortion with the dark web, with the stuff that goes on online, and impacts young people who are really not coping mentally. So I think it just starts with kindness, connection, compassion, making time, smiling, the simple things in life. Giving someone a flower. Those simple things create a moment of joy, a moment, like a little molecule of joy. And I use the concept of microdosing, of just how little bits of goodwill, little bits of a breath, little bits of positive things, of kindness, make a difference. Do you know Wangari Maathai? She was the first African woman to win a Nobel Peace Prize, and she planted thousands of trees, and she lived in a very patriarchal system who didn't want her to study, and she got she went to study in America, and she got her PhD, and she tells the story of the hummingbird, and it's the most beautiful story, and there's a video on it where there's a fire in the forest, and all the animals are running out the forest, and the hummingbird is flying to the river or the dam and picking up water and flying and dropping one drop of water and flying back. And one of the animals said, "Are you crazy? You know, so what are you doing?" And the hummingbird says, "It's each little drop. Eventually, it will create a collective movement which will put out the fire." So, yeah, I hope that answers your question.
Thank you.
Okay. Mm. Mm.
Thank you so much. Violeta, go ahead.
It was beautiful. Thank you very much. And I wonder, again, I'll go back to this reality that is surrounding us, which is beautiful on a level of a flower and a bird. And it's really probably the only thing we can still hold on in its purity of love and connection. Yet, what would be your advice? How to step into the life that surrounds us, where we get signals now from everywhere that these female energies are not to be considered as part of the solution, where women are being pushed again very much aside, and pushed away from the peace negotiations, pushed away from problem solving, pushed away from money distribution. Is there something we are not seeing? Is there something we are overlooking? Because at least I feel that is so much needed in order to find solutions to the challenges that we're facing today, being climate change or poverty or sort of decomposition of communities. Yeah.
So, you know, it's so interesting because it's hard. It's hard, and it's like you can have all these incredible ideas, but the reality is the reality, you know. But there's two things that connect people, and I just think food and music. We have to find a way to eat together, because food tells such an incredible story, and you know, each family, each culture has their own taste. We were talking about senses, their own taste, their own smell of food. So I think food is something that, you know, it's like to find, and if you think of ideally the woman's role is about creative nurturing. And so, you know, I think that we connect, and then with music as well, you know, when no matter, you know, I drum, and I play drums, and it's like you sit in a circle with people who come from all different parts of life, and male, female, rich, poor, you name it. And when we all sit together and hit one beat, we are connected. And it's that concept of that we are part of the web of life. And I mean, it's idealistic, but I don't know, like it's the simple things that start to make a different kind of revolution. And that's through step by step, through finding ways of connecting through food, through music, and just also having an open heart and realizing that a light, you know, in the darkness, a tiny little flame can make the light so much bigger than the darkness. And so I think through storytelling, through just connecting one step at a time, yeah. Otherwise, we get sucked into a story that is just so hard to find our way out of.
But can I just add a little question to this?
may.
I feel with you, and I sort of try to live by what you just said. How do you sense, and this is maybe from Kilo as well, how do you sense the state of consciousness that is currently present on a local or global scale? Are we in a spiral or are we in a circle? In other words, can we see, again, 8 million women being killed over the next 200 years just because we try to eat together and feel the beat together? Or have we evolved to the point that all these disturbances and attempts of this heavy aggressive energies, male energies, can be compensated and somehow digested and processed for the good of the entire planet?
I'll talk and then Kia, you can talk. For me, it's about frequency and again, an energy. If I take a step, if I get sucked in, which I can do because I'm human, my vibration goes down, my frequency goes down, and then I can feel the toxicity and the negativity, and it's not good for me. And so all I can do is lift my vibration and have an attitude of coming from a higher perspective. But I don't have the answers. All I can do is connect with my higher self, with the divinity, with the path that I walk, and ask Mother Earth, nature, for the wisdom and the guidance. And you know, I think that we give a lot of attention, especially with social media. We keep feeding a fire that is raging and is destructive, and we get sucked into it, and it lowers our vibration. And you know, I think for me on a spiritual path, it's only through my spiritual practice and my looking up instead of going left or right, looking up and looking in, and the power of prayer and the power of believing, because I don't know the answer to those questions unless I just keep working on and focusing on another way of being.
I would agree in a way. I think that if you see the big scale, this is a little bit disappointing for me. However, if I see things in a smaller scale, I mean that in local areas, in the smaller scale, I think changes are being done, but they're not very obvious because the bigger scale is hard to reach. So in a way, I'm a little bit frustrated because I see what you, Violeta, said, and I am just feeling that there is no light in the future. But when I see the smallest
societies, what they're trying to do, I'm positive. And you know what? I was thinking this as a forest. That if you see the forest, you might feel, a little bit scared, and you cannot identify something because you see the big screen. But when you go as a little hummingbird goes to its tree, then I think that we can do a lot. And I remind you that the biggest, in a way, destruction of public health has been done from small COVID that you can only see, not with a bare vision. So I don't underestimate what can be done in the smaller scale, because it will lead somewhere. I don't know if it can be quick or it can be so strong to change a lot of things, but smaller changes are sometimes more stable than the big vision. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you for that powerful question, Violetta. I mean, I'm finding this in a lot of, in my community circles, this is the one question, especially for all women at the moment, is, how do we balance this? How do we cope with it? And there's one beautiful quote, which I'll also share in the chat now, which for me is the practice. And I agree with both of you. I also just keep reminding everybody to remember how powerful grassroots connection and movements have been throughout time, and also to focus on all of the beautiful things that are happening around us all the time. That doesn't reach the news, that doesn't reach your social media, but that is also happening at the same time. And this beautiful quote, which I love, by Sarah Durham Wilson, it's not an easy practice, but it's hopeful, is the way you alchemize a soulless world into a sacred world is by treating everyone as if they are sacred until the sacred in them remembers. And I've seen this in practice so many times when I have been in a situation with somebody who is angry, has the opposite value system as mine, or who is, if you hold that sacred center within yourself and move from that place, there is a response that comes from that. Because again, it's our nervous systems, like the mycelium system of the trees, communicate and connect all the time. And so when your nervous system it's co-regulating all the time with everybody else's, it's challenging. But if we know this, we can actually use that as our superpower, let's say. Yeah. And yes, so any other questions, Rajni or Violetta?
I just, out of curiosity, because I have been practicing meditation for a long time. So my question to Nidhi is, if she could let us know, how do we know if we are at a lower vibration? Like she said that, with any bad news, she can feel that her vibrations have lowered down because that is impacting her vibration. But in general, as human beings, as ordinary people, we don't understand whether we are operating at high vibration or lower vibration, because we are being exposed to all sort of news, and we are not actually putting any filter because we feel it's live and we would be exposed to all sort of news. So how do we recognize whether we are operating on high vibration or lower vibration? This is my question.
You ask really good questions. So there has to be, I think it's like a moment, it's a moment of checking in and you to see where you're at. And, you know, it's like a barometer in a way. So the breath is the easiest way into the body. And we do breathe all the time, but most people breathe on a very shallow level. So just one deep breath can change everything, and it can lift the vibration. So how do we know that we're on a low vibration? It's because if you're not feeling well, or, you know, there's that feeling of overwhelm or being sucked in, or, you know, in crippling fear or shock or whatever, it can bring us into a place of feeling really low and feeling despair. I know despair, you know, it's a place that many of us can go to. And when we're in a situation like the world that we're living in now, it's easy to be in despair because there's not a lot, you know, it's not always easy to see the sunshine in the darkness. But you know, the simple act of breathing, of really just taking a deep breath and coming into presence with self helps us to find our way through. And the thing is that when someone is in despair or they're in severe depression and they feel like they've got 13 blankets on top of them and they cannot breathe, you know, they don't want to hear take a deep breath because sometimes they actually can't, you know. So it's just a matter of one step at a time. And I think just through connection and through being a light in our own lives, it starts to ripple around us. And I think it's just to create the ripples of higher vibration, you know. And we can't save everybody, but we can, if we can work on ourselves, then it mirrors a way for other people to feel. Because like you said, you know, I'm a peaceful person, I am. And what happens is when I go out into the world, people respond to that, you know, they smile at me. And, you know, it's just a simple thing of just treating people kindly. So it's just, you know, and yeah, I think it's just,
So anytime we feel we are operating on low vibration, deep breathing is the shortest route we can reconnect with high vibration, in a
you
nutshell.
can, yeah, it helps you to come into the body. And when we're in the body, we're
Right.
more present. And when we're more present, we actually are aware of what's going on right in front of us. We're not called into past stories or worrying about what's going to happen
Future.
tomorrow.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And a lot of the fear comes from fear of the future, fear of what's going to happen, you know,
Right.
you know, and often people, that puts them in a state of anxiety and stress when they start thinking about what's going to happen in the future. You know, and it's not happening now. So it's to just be here now, as Ram Dass said so eloquently. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Wonderful. I think there are some simple practices as well for self-care. I think we've discussed quite a few of them, but one of them as well, which leads from our last conversation, is also for us to set a self-care practice of digital boundaries. And I think it's a good practice. And I know that I've experienced this that's been deeply inspiring. I've experienced it with Violetta and also with Cleo. When I, you know that you're either away restoring or somewhere else, and that's always inspiring for me to say, to experience that when you're communicating with somebody and they say, actually right now I'm restoring, or I'm away in the mountains, or I'm restoring in nature, or and then coming back to that. And it's, I think, in our digital world, what's happened, and this is a big mental health impact, is that our personal lives and our professional lives have become one through social media and LinkedIn and these things. And so a big self-care practice for myself that I'm still perfecting is those kind of digital boundaries, to make that space and time for yourself. So I think that in practice is also something that can really help us, especially our youth. If you think about our youth, if there was something, some conflict at school, you would have the afternoon to process through it. But now it's a continuous conversation in a group chat, you know, which kids go through. And so I think those digital boundaries is something that we underestimate, but is something that will greatly benefit us and help us.
Yeah, the word that comes up is discernment, and I think it's a really important way of being is to be discerning of what we watch, what we consume, what we listen to, and we do have the ability to switch off our phones and to put them on silent and to take time out. And it is definitely an important self-care practice. Yeah.
Thank you, Nidhi. And Claire, when you were talking about your experience and also eco-psychology in Greece, it always makes me think of the ancient wisdom of the Asclepsia. And I really think that this is something that we need to also reintroduce, remember, embrace, because that was the ancient wisdom of Greece, is the Asclepsia, which used to be, you know, these temples, but nature that you would go to, which was in the mountains with fresh air, beautiful clean water, a space to recharge. And I know you've just spent some time in beautiful mountains also.
Yes, indeed. And Asclepia are my favorite places because we can see there the wisdom that the ancient Greek had towards the one health. What we are revisit right now is what they understood as one health. So it's very interesting. It was like an open air hospital where people were going there. It was surrounded by basic elements, and the every place had also theater because theater was therapeutic. Being in nature was therapeutic, and chemesis, that was the procedure of sleeping, and supposedly that Asclepios was coming to your dream and would advise you what you have to do. It's what we call now self therapy, that you need to come in connection to your own body and your spirit, which then was Asclepios, to tell you what you need. And I think the places that the Asclepia have been built are very holy places and strong places. And there is one I visit very often when I want to get strength. And how can everything be turned because of other reason, like cultural or religious reason, like the snake was not the devil, but was a creature that was a symbol of therapy because it changes its skin, and it has also a therapeutic poison that is used. So the thing is not go back to the ancient years to find therapies and cures, but get back the wisdom and the knowledge and adjust it to what we have done so far in a good way in our progression. And the most important thing is that we need to see a whole, not a leg, a hand, a heart, and then we can see also the surrounding.
Thank you. Thank you for that holistic connection to all of life. Well, beautiful ladies, this has kind of brought us to a close of our time today. And I really want to thank my colleagues and also thank our wonderful speakers, both Cleo and Nidhi. Thank you for your time. Thank you for listening.
Too.
Thank you for sharing your knowledge.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Nidhi. Thank you, Cleo.